God. Hello. How's everybody doing? Ugh. All right. Let me get the chat window popped out here so I can see it. Just gonna jump right in because I've had a whirlwind of a day. Delete graphic preset. I don't know where that menu came from. That's not what I want. Control M. Ugh, broccoli all day. I fell into the fractal rabbit hellhole of the broccoli fields today on the farm, and oh my god, bunch of weird circumstances. First, like the birds, like who's the guy, Hitchcock, like Alfred Hitchcock level bird activity. It's just like tearing the leaves to pieces, skeletonizing the leaves. This sounds pretty cool. Port Solitude. Let's try this out. No access. Alright, let me start flying too, so check that off my list. I turned up the microphone volume to like 90% of normal. It keeps resetting for reasons that I just have no idea why. But let me... My cat's trying to like violently get inside a closed cardboard box. Let me know if the microphone volume is like way too loud. I don't think it will be. If anything, it's probably better than it's ever been, so that's my hope and dream at least. Willow Springs. This is kind of an interesting looking build. I'm so exhausted. It's like 3:13 and I haven't even had lunch yet. But my partner's coming home at 4 with a friend, so I have to get my streaming done before then. But I'm actually not hungry. I should be starving because I worked my ass off today. But I'm not hungry at all for some reason. I have a sandwich and a bag of chips right in front of me, and nope, nothing. Maybe it has something to do with that I got up at 5 a.m. this morning. Kind of have that sleep deprivation haze. Holy shit, look at this. Portugal games. Look at all those avatars. How many do we got here? 73 people. Oh my god. I didn't even know Second Life could support that many avatars. That's just nuts. I'm almost tempted to go there just because for some reason my cats have decided this is the perfect time to just start fighting and rabble rousing right on my desk, of course. Okay, Tequila Sunrise. This I can't pass up. No valid parcel. Well, no tequila sunrise for Neotoy story. Who's having trouble even talking, so maybe it's a good thing he passed up that tequila. Oh my god. So yeah, broccoli plants are weird. Certain varieties too in particular. The one that we grow is called Marathon, which if you ever grow broccoli, especially for a fall winter crop, plant it like October, November, and I guarantee you it will be the most magical broccoli experience you've ever had in your life, assuming you top dress heavily with a good full spectrum compost mix. We've been harvesting probably 10 to 15 pounds a week off of 240-foot rows of broccoli for and each one of those has about 40 plants. So about 80 plants that we get 15 pounds of broccoli every single week for, we've been harvesting for 3.5 months, almost 4 months. That is, if you've ever worked on a farm or grown broccoli, that's kind of a legendary level of production. But we're kind of at the top of our game. I'm really having trouble finding an interesting sim today. I mean, there's a lot of interesting sims, but maybe my ability to pick one is... Okay, Magic Emerald, let's try this. Okay, so far so good. Please tell me this isn't a racetrack sim. Oh wow, this is different for sure. These little gun emplacements are cool. Little radar GIF on the back there. Come on, res for me. Come on, you can do it. Maybe that's as high a resolution as it ever gets. Oh no, there it goes. It's sideways. It's a little sloppy. Okay, let's just get the big overview here. So we pretty much just have a giant jungle island or archipelago with a little compound right in the center that could be a store or God knows what. Let's see if I can get a read on the land. Okay, so Magic Emerald Store, so it's some kind of a capitalism type thing. The nuclear racing game, destruction derby, combat zone, owned by T.A. Shaw Emerald, 10 years old, founder, lead developer of the sim that we're on right here. So this is kind of cool so far. I'm really intrigued by this racetrack. Oh man, I really need to turn down the volume on the wind sounds. It kind of I hate doing this because unfortunately all the ambient sounds are controlled by this slider here, and so if I turn down the ambient sounds, you miss a lot of other cool sounds. Oh cool, there's like jellyfish. Oh wow, that's beautiful. I don't even think the textures have all resed yet. Wonder who made this. Ah, cool. She made it herself. That's a pretty neat build. I saw like a shark too that was swimming around. There it is. Wow, that's a legit pretty creepy / scary looking shark there. Same creator. We got some kind of tropical goldfish down here. Yeah, I'm reticent to turn off flying, but this is a very interesting racetrack. Like the way it's built out of like these segments kind of makes me wonder if those segments perform some kind of function. We got some legit straight up emerald crystals, the namesake of the sim. Looks like some pretty high quality rock assets with normal and specular maps. I think I'm just gonna go off the course because we're gonna end up at the store eventually, but the jungle zone is what really appeals to me so far, just because of all the botanicals. What happened to your butt, dear? What are these called again? Bird of Paradise, really? I thought so, but then I was like, no, that's too obvious. It's like a zodiac symbol in the middle of that fountain. Alright, I think I'm gonna change the environment settings. Well, that kind of flattens everything out. I don't know, I kind of prefer the region settings. The lighting is more interesting. Oh, my wife just bought one of these. What are these called? It just says tropical shrub, but I know they have a specific name. It's just escaping me at the moment. So yeah, lots of ambient sounds, but those are like scripted sounds, so I think they count as one of the other sliders. This is a really nice banana tree or whatever this is. I think it's a banana tree. It just says palm, but there's so many different types of palms. They're easy to confuse with banana trees. Although I suppose it would probably have bananas on it if it was a banana tree. Cattails, nice. Little water lilies. Yeah, pretty cool job on the landscaping. And I think personally it would be really upsetting as a creator if you had spent like all these, like however many hours it takes to create one of these multi-model animations for a scripted creature in Second Life. Oh, this one's, it's actually just one model. I thought it was multi-modeled, or yeah, but because of the jerkiness of the animation, but it actually oh, it's an Animesh. Cool. Yeah, so the Animesh is the new next generation technology for entities in Second Life. Huh, the scripted here, I need to change my preferences. There's this right here is what's screwing up the animation. I think I'll put it to 30. So yeah, you notice how those were moving really jerkily? That's because they were imposters, which basically just takes the 3D model and turns it into a sprite and then displays it in the approximate location that the actual model is located at. But this is what they look like when they are fully functional and animated as 3D objects. And it's a fairly realistic, I mean, for Second Life, I think it's a pretty realistic performance. But that's cool because these new Animesh models are a lot more sophisticated than what used to be used, which was just multiple models overlapped on top of each other that would then phase in and out of visibility in order to simulate animation. Was that a barracuda? Or a sturgeon? Longfish? That's the scientific name. Okay, almost like a mangrove over there. That's kind of cool. Gold root clusters. Yeah, that's definitely a mangrove type tree, but it's not like any I've ever seen in real life, at least. That's the beauty of virtual worlds. The things can exist in virtual worlds that don't exist in real life. Okay, I'm gonna go around to the main entrance, and I think I've seen enough in terms of the... Oh, those seagulls? Cool. Not super realistic though, but I really like seagulls. One of my favorite birds, even though a lot of people think of them as like a shit tier bird because they're basically just like the rats of the sky, you know, pretty much they're just pests and they're flying around and pooping on everything. Although people say that about pigeons too. Pigeons are also the rats of the sky. There's a lot of sky rats out there. Okay, I'm just gonna like stop flying so that I can kind of enjoy.
Hello, visitor. Welcome to Magic Emerald Main Store. I am Alice, an artificial intelligence created to serve and protect you. I hope that you will enjoy your visit. Feel free to contact my creator, Tasha Emerald, if you have any questions about our products.
Okay, so that was pretty cool. I don't think I've ever experienced that in a store before, so. Alright, all sorts of excitement here. Man, someone put a lot of effort into this. Oh, we know who put a lot of effort into it. Because we checked out the sim creator, but pretty pretty impressive so far. Kind of like mini game. Sounds like a helicopter's coming in for a landing. So I'm not really sensing a theme yet, kind of just a variety of items.
Warning. Unexpected activity detected. Initiating anti-aircraft systems.
Oh cool, there's like a whole scenario scripted. This is awesome. The guns are tracking the helicopter. Are they gonna shoot it down? This is exciting. It's like an Apache. Wow.
Target neutralized.
Cool. Well, that was different. I find stuff like that super impressive because, I mean, if you saw that in like a normal game, you know, like a first-person shooter or whatever, you'd be just like, oh, it's just another part of the game. But you think about it, like some individual basically had to script all that and encode it all from scratch. I mean, yeah, they probably pieced it together from modules and third-party scripts and stuff, but still, like to design an experience like that's pretty awesome, I think, from a creator standpoint. So you can buy some of the stuff that are things that are on the sim. I need to see if the elevator works. Not sure if there's even a second floor or not. It seems. Oh, okay, cool. So sit here. Alright. Oh, cool. It's like an experience elevator. Okay, let's see. We're on the 0th floor, so let's try. Sorry, that's so loud. Alright. I'm trying to, like, manage all the different controls and settings and sound effects. Okay, so obviously the person who runs the store is kind of a scripter, because you got to have some pretty wild scripting chops to make stuff like that. Like a item delivery system. It's pretty cool. Nice. Haha, that's awesome. They took the props that they and like they have like this is a replication basically of their actual workflow. Like they got their sketch for the golem, and then there's like a blender window on the laptop with one of their items. That's pretty awesome. Chessboard. Yeah, you can totally tell that this sim has a lot of love in it. Clearly the creator like really is passionate about not just creating but about Second Life and making this fun little mini experience and stuff. Okay, let's head up to the third floor if we can. I'm actually pretty excited about this. It's a fairly realistic elevator for Second Life. I'm just totally impressed. Oh, so this is the roof. Cool. Well, I think I've pretty much seen the whole sim. It's one of those concentrated ones. Yeah, so I'm going to paste the SLURL Kugel83 in there so you can check it out if you haven't already like typed it into the map. But yeah, this is a pretty cool piece of work here, and additionally I can tell there's some kind of an actual like interactive thing here with the that racetrack type thing. I guess some kind of like destruction derby race. Yeah, I've never heard of this creator before, but it kind of seems like they're just kind of getting started. I don't know how long they've been doing this, but pretty cool. So yeah, that was a neat sim. Let's see, I'm only 22 minutes in, so I'm gonna try to find something else or like another sim. But that was pretty good. That was like a nice little starter map for the stream today. Pistachio, come on, man. The sandwich, it is not for you. It is for him. I think I might just go sight in unseen into this black box Evita. Interesting. Cool. Oh. I guess it looks like I'm on the dark side of the moon here. Lava fields. A giant anus. What am I doing in the ground? Maybe this is like a mud. Like one of those upwelling mud things that you can see in volcanic areas. This lava's pretty cool looking. Stupidly, I turned off flying. And flying is turned off on the sim. Yeah, no idea what this is, but it's pretty interesting so far. Actually, this kind of reminds me. Oh, whoa. The roots are moving. This reminds me a little of, is it Skyrim? I'm not sure if it's Skyrim or one of the other games by that production studio. But like, I'm thinking like it's Might and Magic. But maybe it is Skyrim, like where you go to this like hell region. And this kind of reminds me of that place. Oh my god, what is this? That's pretty gross. Is this, someone probably recognizes this. It looks like it's from Quake or Doom or something. Flesh Abomination. Solitude Blackheart, I don't know. It just kind of looked like an asset from another game though, but I'm not sure. Alright, I'm gonna have to change the environment settings because I can't see anything. Oh, that's pretty grotesque. Yeah, that really ruins the atmospherics, but if I can't see anything, I can't show anything, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a stream, so. I might just turn the weather effects on and off in order to sort of like compare and contrast. So it looks like helipads or something here. Sci-fi. Yeah, this is one of those multi-genre environments that are so popular nowadays. Very like Hexen-esque or Quake-esque, where you have like demons, or yeah, like Wolfenstein. You have like demons and sci-fi stuff kind of mixed together. PC dwarf spider droid. Some 90s video game looking crates. What do we have here? Okay. These are pretty interesting. Soldiers, got like a machete and throwing knives and stuff. Not really future soldier, so not really from any video game franchise, just like original constructions, I guess. Ugh, the volume. I just cannot get the volume settings right. I'm just about to give up, honestly. It's either too loud or too quiet. See, I'm just like in a little, like cyber soldier barracks, I guess. 3 stories or so. No exit from the top, unfortunately, so I gotta walk all the way back down. Just some bunk beds in there. Doesn't seem like a very good use of space, honestly. You could only hold like 6 soldiers in one of those pods, and yet they're so spacious, but maybe they're for officers. It's still a cool design, like modules that you can just stack on top of each other. I'm assuming like maybe it's all one mesh. Yeah, it kind of seems like it. Stacking prefab. Huh. There's a Star Wars droid. And one of those ones that goes "Meow, meow," makes that funny sound. I used to love destroying those things in Jedi Academy. Good times. So we got the security turrets here, but they're taking a nap apparently. Neotoy Story is just gonna waltz right in. Oh, this looks like right out of Star Wars. I feel like they lifted these textures from Dark Forces or something. Pretty cool. I love the color, like the color scheme, like these sort of like soft, muted earth tones and like the opalescence. It's got a very coherent look to it. And this definitely looks like Star Wars. textures. Yeah, that's even a Star Wars ship. So, you can just safely assume that they lifted all these textures. Lots of mysterious objects in here. But nothing seems to be interactive. I clicked on all the stuff. So yeah, just some kind of like holographic control room type thing. Oh, we got a Jedi temple over here. Actually, let me check. Maybe if I can actually find some bare ground, maybe we can get some info on this. It's an object. Oh, there has to be some bare ground somewhere around here. It's like every square inch is covered. Well, no matter what, this is kind of interesting, I will say that. I mean, it's not just a conventional environment. It's a really cool sculpture. Very bizarre, but cool. It's like stuffed with human skulls. Let's see who made this. Death Mother statue by Kadaj Yoshikawa. How one of my friends used to have that last name in Second Life a long time ago. It's like a teleporter, but I'm tempted, but I want to explore the rest of the temple. Alright, I'm just gonna try it. Third floor. Alright. Got the holocrons. See, I'm totally in like the Dark Jedi or a Sith temple here. These old Imperial computers and stuff. Alright. Balcony. There's the temple of the Dark Lord. That's pretty cool. Don't mind if I do. Wow, that really effed up my view. Alright, court is in session. I'm waiting for the all the peasants to come in and pay tribute to Neotoy story here. Okay, so this is the balcony where I give my speech to the grunts below and fill them in on our plans for world domination. Alright, let's try the last teleporter location. I think there was one more. The council. Huh. That apparently did not go anywhere. Ugh, I'm really having a hard time navigating. Can't say I approve of the decor. I think I'm gonna have to redecorate now that this is my council chamber. Ugh, come on now. I guess I'm already in the council room, even though this was the also the balcony location. So maybe the teleporter goes to multiple location destinations are set for one location. And I really wanted to see if I could check the ground and do this to 512 and see if I can find a bare spot. No, it's an object. Oh, I'm probably like up in the sky or something. Or this is just on the ocean. The island is just an ocean type sim. Yeah, just objects, so I can't actually do a ground scan. Oh well. So yeah, this one's Oricon, Remnant of the Dread, whatever that means. Kind of a, I don't know, interesting in the sense that it's not normal. So yeah. All right, what are we at? 35 minutes. Man, I've got so much time today. It's ridiculous. All right, gonna look for another sim. That was kind of cool. I'm almost craving something normal after those last two sims. Like just a quaint European village or, castle with a lighthouse and. Just joking. Lots of activity today. Maybe because it's kind of later, so more people are off work. All the wage slave scrubs like me who are working half time. Okay, Vergison. Let's try this. Well, I got my wish. Looks pretty conventional. Oh, I need to change my draw distance because 512 is just way too much if I want to have any kind of a frame rate whatsoever. Wow, even 256 is straining my GPU. Alright, gonna try that. Interesting. I wonder when this trend started where people build these huge rock walls to divide up sections of the sim. I mean, I know why they do it because they're subdividing, trying to create some privacy for their own section of the sim so that they can build in peace or whatever. But there's a lot of different ways that could have been implemented, and I don't know. I just find these giant monolithic rock walls to be kind of an eyesore, I guess. Looks like that side of the sim is private land, so if I want to see what's going on over there, I'm going to have to just use my eye in the sky and snoop, which I'm kind of comfortable with. It's not quite as fun, but I think it's a lot more efficient to just use the eye in the sky. What the hell is this? Kind of cool looking butterfly swarm. Oh, it's just the textures haven't resed yet. It's weird. The sim doesn't initially look like there's a lot going on here, but given how dramatically choked up my frame rate is, I'm thinking there's probably a lot of stuff going on here. Probably in the tens of millions of polys. This is a cool little fish pond. Sorry, Mei. No sandwich for you. Just because it's a sandwich sitting on a table doesn't mean it belongs to you. So yeah, the bottom line is it could take God knows how long for all the stuff in my vicinity to res, especially since I'm in another corner of the sim. These are koi, I guess. Oh, that's a pretty. The textures just haven't loaded, but it looks like it's a really high quality asset. I just can't tell with the low res texture. That's cool. They dive and stuff. I wonder if these are also Animesh. Oh no, this is the multi model for the old school version. Yeah, what I was trying to the point I was trying to make earlier is how annoying it would be if you were a creator and you spent like a million hours creating one of these segmented animated objects, and then Animesh comes out and it's suddenly like you don't have to spend a million hours making 50 different frames, each one an individual model with its own UV mapping and etc. And you can just rig the model and script it to behave realistically. That would just, ugh, I can't even imagine how upsetting that would be. And I've always been too, like, I don't know, scared. It's the word that comes to mind to actually attempt to work on something that advanced in Second Life. Like, rigging is pretty much where I've drawn the line so far in my 3D modeling career, just because all the, like, videos and stuff I've seen or tutorials for rigging, it just makes it seem so tedious. And I'm like, UV mapping is tedious enough. I don't know if I want to go in and make a skeleton for my 3D models too. I mean, that's just like layer after layer of abstraction. Like, I mean, already when I make a model, like I have to make a LOD meshes and then a physics mesh. So it's like 3 to 4 times the work of just making the model itself. So it's already a lot of work. Then to go in and put in a skeleton as well, I don't know. Only so many hours in the day. I'll leave that to the professionals. I'll just stick to the geometry and the texturing. So cool. They have a little vegetable garden going here, maybe, or just ornamentals. Irises. Oh, cool. There's like a moisture level and stuff. Little paint station. Daffodils. Huh, that's so funny. I picked a yellow daffodil yesterday in the garden. It was like an early bloomer. They're not really supposed to come out until the spring. I mean, like in full force, but this one, for whatever reason, it was just getting a jump on the warmer weather. Because we have this phenomena here where I live called the false spring, where basically at the end of the winter season, and this is actually a really fascinating phenomenon because even to this day there isn't consensus in the scientific community for exactly what causes false spring. This is a beautiful build right here. There's actually another name for it, which I'm forgetting, that is actually the more common name, but I call it false spring. What it is where, like, in January, the end of winter before spring, this really weird thing happens where suddenly the weather gets really nice for like a week or two. It usually only lasts about 2 weeks, but basically the sun comes out, the air temperature rises, and sometimes it's so extreme that it will trick plants, especially like fruit trees, into thinking that spring has started, and they will start flowering and getting ready to produce fruit. And then, surprise, Mother Nature's like, fuck you, trees. And then winter comes back full force, and there's like a hard freeze, and suddenly it's like full on dead of winter again. And it really, really, really can mess up the plants. And if you're like an amateur gardener and you're not used to this phenomenon, it can really mess you up too, because you're like, oh, spring started, time to take all of my spring plants that I want to get ready for spring and summer that have been hardening off in my like greenhouse, and put them outside, you know. And you do that, and unfortunately, you pay a terrible price when winter comes back. And all your hard work can go away in an instant, especially if your plants can't uh, handle a hard frost, which a lot of plants have trouble with that. I'm getting like a horrible, horrible frame rate, like 2 FPS. And that's with this like new high-end card. It's not like my video card isn't up to the challenge. But there's just so much geometry and texture data in the sim, like an insane amount. That's a beautiful fern. How much do you want to bet it's apple fall? Nope. Key West Formal Living complete room set, huh? Reed Parkin. Well, that's cool. This is one of the nicer looking ferns I've seen in Second Life. Oh, that's a beautiful cast iron fire grate. God, this sim just has layer after layer after layer of complexity. In terms of props. This is what happens when you stack props from multiple different artists. Uh-oh, sounds like my partner's home, so I may have to go, I'm gonna mute my mic here just for a minute. Alright, I'm back. This is a pretty cool little ensconced fountain type thing. Foyer fountain. Sasha 980. Everything but the water looks pretty good, which that's always, like I've said in multiple videos before, one of the hardest things to simulate in with computers is fluids, because fluid dynamics are, you know, heavily dependent on physics, and physics is super information dense. It's very hard to create a shorthand for physics. Uh-oh, they got their chair floating into their table there. It makes me a little sad when I see all this like delicious stuff in Second Life, and I think like there's no way to enjoy that stuff other than visually. Oh, cool. The cabinet doors open. That's pretty cool. Bohemia sideboard. It's a neat table. Man, somebody likes lemonade. Got the pink lemonade, the yellow lemonade. Granite countertops. Stacks of pancakes. Ugh, I'm actually drooling. This is bad. Should start eating that sandwich. Alright, I'm gonna wait for these to res. I'm gonna unwrap my sandwich here and start chowing down. I'm starting to feel hungry for sure now. Oh, those are waffles. Waffles and bacon, nice. Yeah, sometimes you just never know what you're looking at until it reses. It's amazing how deceptive models can be without texture data. Oh my god, I had no idea how hungry I was until just now. You guys are lucky you get the 2-for-1 experience. And you get a Second Life video, and you got a food eating asthma video. Oh, that's so good. Nice barbecue accessory set. Oh my god, the racks in the oven. Wow, that's impressive. I wonder if the racks slide out too. No, that would be asking too much. It's kind of funny if you think about like how many objects are interactive in Second Life, but like as a creator, at what point do you stop making objects interactive? You know what I mean? Oh my god, look at this. Oh my god, the dishwasher rack is like fully articulated. Oh my god. It's like a billion polygons. Pretty cool though. Wouldn't see that in any other game. But like yeah, like who decides when to stop? You know what I mean? Like yeah, the rack is articulated, but the control panel doesn't work. You can't like set the clock. You can't turn the knobs. You can't like start a dishwashing cycle. You can't like put dishes into the dishwasher and actually have them wash and like clean the food off of the virtual plates. I mean, and it makes you wonder like, is that inevitable? It looks like a recipe box. I want to see if I can read a recipe here. Like inevitably, will things just get more and more real as time goes on until eventually you can do everything in virtual worlds and just live a completely virtual life where you can. I'm eating gherkins. I don't think this is ever gonna res. I mean, at some point, there has to be like a diminishing returns, you know? Or at least I think. Wow, this is pretty cool. Because it's like people want the experience of a simulated reality in the virtual world, but only on a superficial level or a slightly deeper level, like that fridge. People don't really want the full reality. Like, what if the refrigerator was designed with so much realism that it could break down and then your food would like spoil, like your virtual food would spoil inside the fridge, and then all this mold would grow in there, and or like the motor fails and your fridge catches on fire and burns down your mansion or whatever. I mean, like where do you draw the line? And like how much of that would realistically be under human control in the future? Because as artificial intelligence plays a bigger and bigger role in design and coding and stuff like that, at what point will like a program, an AI program, be like, well, I'm gonna max out the realism because algorithmically that makes sense. In which case, things like that could start popping up without human intervention. Because I mean, I think it would take a lot of intelligence to be able to code an algorithm to be able to understand that humans want a certain level of realism, but they don't necessarily want full realism. And I'm like blown away by the intricacy of this sim. It's ludicrous. Like, look at this. It's like a ship, tiny little ship model inside a bookcase. Like, look at the detail on here. I mean, it hasn't, the textures haven't res yet. But there's even like a capstan on this thing. Like, holy cow. There we go. Like, ugh. I mean, like the next level to this would be like there's a captain's cabin on the ship, and you can zoom in, and inside the captain's cabin there's another tiny little like dining set and uh like living environment, and in that microverse there's a bottle with the ship inside of it, and that ship, and you just go on and on and on. It's like an infinite recursion of microscopic little ships inside other ships. Like that's something an AI might do, you know? There would be levels though, like levels of depth of simulation, just like so that movie with the top um what is the name of that movie? Yeah, I've never played any of the Sims game except for like the map or like the original Mac version in like the 90s. I don't know how many levels of recursion there are in those games, but I'm guessing it doesn't go on indefinitely. Wow, that's a beautiful oh, they did the all the letters or numbers or individual mesh objects with full bright and glow to make them like stand out. That's awesome. Oh, that's so detailed. Some cool desk props. Everything's pretty well arranged, like aside from the fact that these lamps are like merging into the wall, but I'm just in general the design of the living environments on this sim are pretty nice. Yeah, weird. This table is also misaligned or misrotated somehow. One of my favorite things of touring Sims in Second Life is to see the like virtual artwork that people have put up, or in this case, it really is virtual art of a screenshot of another environment within Second Life. So there's a layer of recursion. All right, Inception. That's the movie. You know, so like you're going into the dream of the person, and then you go into a dream within a dream, and it just keeps going like layer after layer, deeper after deeper, deeper and deeper into the dream after dream after dream. That's kind of how I see like the evolution of AI encoded virtual worlds or virtual assets. Oh my god, look at this. Every freaking string in the piano is an object. Oh, they're squares at least. Extruded squares instead of cylinders, because that would have been like a gajillion polygons. Looks like the songbook is improperly aligned. This is probably a playable piano. If I was getting a decent frame rate, I could probably try to play a tune on there. Kind of seems like whoever lives here either really likes jazz or is black. That would be my guess. That's cool to see sort of a non-Caucasian environment in Second Life. I mean, there are a lot of people who aren't Caucasian, obviously, who play Second Life. But I don't know if I've ever been in like a I haven't experienced a great amount of diversity in Second Life in terms of the environments that I've explored. I mean, I'm just guessing. I could be wrong. Yeah, so the artificial intelligence will have to decide how many layers of realism that it's going to extrapolate and produce. I always kind of wonder, like, how easy would it be to get lost in a virtual world too? Like, psychologically, if it's indistinguishable from reality. Like, I mean, you're just like playing a game every day. You get home from work, you put on your VR suit or whatever, your Neuralink interface, and you go into the virtual world and you're like living a life in that virtual world, like a second life, like in Second Life, where you have your like fantasy house and like the only way you'd really be able to differentiate between your two lives is at what like level of fidelity. God, what are these? So like animal boxes, I think, of some sort. Probably one of those procedurally generated pet things in Second Life. Yeah, like you'd only know that you were in a virtual world when you like opened up your virtual refrigerator and there was like just a couple of prop pieces of food in there and you're like, "Oh, this isn't real life. This is virtual life." And like at what point if that stuff was being procedurally generated or managed by an AI and it's like every time you had a thought or a need for something and the AI would like produce it until the point where you simply could not tell if you were in a virtual world or in real life. And then you might become lost like forever in that virtual life, just like wasting away. I don't know, it's just a fun thought experiment. I don't think it's like ever really gonna a fully animated toilet seat. Look at that, there's even water in the bowl. That's pretty cool. I have yet to click on a toilet in Second Life that lets the lid and the seat both go up. Like, and that's sort of exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's those little subtle details, layers of reality that make it possible for you to tell that it's a virtual world. And like in the future, when things are even more sophisticated and seamless, that would be like the only way at all to know the difference. I mean, maybe you'd always know somewhere inside your mind. It'd be like, yeah, I put on my VR gear, 72 hours ago. This isn't real. On the other hand, I've always thought like, oh, these are some beautiful assets. Wow, look at that. No wonder I'm lagging to hell. I mean, look at that. Even the little like knobs are multi-poly. Angelica Rexon. Some beautiful artwork. Not showing the correct time, at least not for my time zone. That sleep mask. What I don't understand is how people have fun in their virtual environments that are this like resource intensive. Like I can barely navigate this as it is with my like quasi supercomputer. Like I can't imagine this would be very fun or immersive um, to try to like RP real life. I mean, I suppose it's possible that with like a $20,000 computer build, you could maybe get a really good frame rate in this kind of an environment. I honestly just have no idea if that is possible or not, because I don't have 20 grand to throw at a super build of a system. I've always built my own computers, well, at least since like the 90s, and I usually build budget builds, and I usually use those computers for like close to a decade apiece, and maybe I update my video card if I'm lucky. The last two computers I built, because I was doing more and more 3D design, I couldn't justify a bargain build anymore, so I was like putting more money into higher end CPU, higher end GPU. I think the computer I have right now is probably the highest end PC I've ever built. It's not like there's no crossfire happening or SLI or anything like that. It's just a one GPU system, but it's still pretty high end. I mean, this is like a $420 video card. I mean, honestly though, like if you have that kind of money, I feel like why wouldn't you just build a real life that was this awesome? And these people have a lot of kids. God, there's just so many details. You could probably spend like 3 hours exploring the sim. Cause I'm like skimming here. I'm not even waiting for stuff to res. And this isn't even the whole sim. This is just like one. Oh, that's cool. There's a steam whistle on the bed. An interactive steam whistle that when you click on it, it releases a puff of steam. I suppose it probably whistles too, but I can't hear it. I'm pretty much lost in the mansion at this point. Like, I don't even know where I am. There's so many rooms. Here we go, the Black Panther room. I feel like that would be really cool, though. Like, if you had a really big family to, like, RP as a family and to have, like, your kids would all have Second Life avatars, and that each kid would have like their own virtual room in your virtual house that you would all share in Second Life. That sounds pretty awesome to me, actually. Okay, I think this is the end of the hallway. Oh, there's one more door here. Looks like it just goes out to a balcony. One thing that I really wish Second Life had that it doesn't, and I know this is technology that's just light years ahead of where the platform is right now, would be like a blueprint mode. I think I've already been in this room. I'm just gonna like zoom out, get the bird's eye view here, and see if I think that was like just one wing of the house that I explored. But yeah, like a blueprint mode, so you could basically have like a little like mini map radar type thing. I mean, there's already a mini map for Second Life, but one specific to the structures that you were in. And I suppose you could script that with like a third party type thing. It wouldn't be too hard to engineer, or at least I imagine it wouldn't be. So that like a build, for example, like a mansion like this would have a little blueprint file that was like part of the structure, like contained within one of the items, and then a third party script could access that blueprint file and show you like where you were in the in the blueprint overlaid onto a little mini map so that you could like find your way around. Although I guess honestly that's something that only someone like me would need as an explorer. It's not something that you would really need as a resident or a person who is RPing in this virtual world. Going down into the garage to see what we have here. Oh, cool. I'm glad I went down here because the basement is like its own little world. That's a neat aquarium. This is one of those like flatfish. That's really detailed. Looks also like an animesh too. There's like multiple layers of stuff in here that's making it really hard to isolate. There we go. Okay. Guess there's just, oh, there we go. Aquarium Fish 7 puzzle magnet. It's not an animesh, it's a multi-mesh animation. I mean, honestly, I feel like 90% of the animated assets in Second Life are those multi-mesh and not animesh. So it was really cool to see that animesh flamingo or whatever it was on that other sim, because it's few and far between that you come across one of those, and they honestly they look a million times better than the multi-mode, multi-mesh animated objects. You could be in the mansion of like a real world professional athlete or something. You just never freaking know. Alright, I'm just feeling totally overwhelmed at this point. Like I don't even know how I can systematically see everything in the sim. There's just so much, so many areas. And this one house like took up like almost as much time as the rest of the video. In fact, a little over. Looks like this sim's broken up into 4 quadrants or 3 quadrants. With this one, 2 quadrants being together, and then the other. There's another house over here, possibly owned by a completely different person. But honestly, I'm exhausted and I want to finish my sandwich, so I think I'm just gonna call it a day for this sim. But I will paste the it's so hard to like fight the impulse to just keep exploring because it's so there's so much to see. That's a weird toilet. It's like a glass toilet. Would you really want to see everything? I don't know. Oh my god, here it is. The lid and the seat, they both go up. Oh my god. Okay, that was totally worth it. Totally worth it. Alright, yeah. So, thanks for watching. I'm gonna post the SL URL here really quick and then sign out. Yeah, so catch y'all later.